Hello, Brad here with Minuteman Theory, and today I'm going to be painting my rifle winter camo in cold weather. I've got some sweet tips and tricks for you to make sure that you can still get a good paint job even when it's cold out, because that's the most challenging thing to do when you're using spray cans in cold weather. And I'm doing this because Kevin sent me a picture of the winter camo on his rifle, and I was jealous, so I'm going to do mine as well. As you can see, this rifle has already been painted before for more of a spring, summer, fall sort of camo, and I've also added some things to it since I painted it. So there are some things that aren't painted, like this optic, my dust cover here, which is my favorite part of this rifle, and also the flashlight and my linear compensator right there. Now, the better you prep your rifle for paint, the better, more sturdy paint job you'll get. Prep is key. Now, there's a lot of worn bits on this rifle because I use it quite a bit, and so the paint has worn off, and I'm okay with that. I actually kind of like that. So I am not going to do much prep work to this because I'm okay if it gets a little beat up looking. There are some things that if you want a better, more sturdy paint job that you need to do. First of all, you need to clean the outside of the rifle. All the surfaces to be painted need to be as perfectly clean as you can get them. If you're doing a Cerakote or Duracoat job, which is more of a harder coating than we're going to get with this spray paint, you might even go all the way down to sandblasting the parts and making sure that there's no coating left on them so you can start from bare metal. Those Cerakote and Duracoat jobs hold up really, really well, and we're actually going to be doing one on Ian's new lever action rifle hopefully very soon, and so we'll bring you along for that process too. It's much more involved, but today we're just using spray paint. So prep is going to be very simple for this rifle. We're basically just going to tape off everything we don't want paint on. Actually, the very first step, of course, is to ensure that our gun is unloaded and safe, which it is. But next, the things that I don't want paint on are the trigger. You can paint the trigger, but you'll end up with kind of a sticky trigger for a while until all the paint wears off. I'm going to cover the both sides of my optic so I don't get paint on the glass, and I'm going to cover up the measurements on my adjustments here so that I can reference them in the future. The only other thing is cover up the front of my flashlight so it will still work after paint. And I'm also going to remove my sling because I don't want to paint that. You can actually spray paint a sling if you want to change the color or add patterns to it or something. But in my case, I don't want to do that. Oh, also a quick note. Some people will put a little bit of tape or cotton swab or something down the crown of their barrel, just in the tip to keep paint out of the barrel. You can do that, depending on what type of rifle it is and what type of muzzle device you have. With this linear compensator, there's very little chance of me getting paint all the way down in the barrel, and the little bit that I do get in there, I'm sure is going to shoot out in probably the first shot I take after paint. So I'm not going to worry about it personally. Okay, so now I have my rifle prepped as far as I'm going to. The next step is to lay down a base coat of paint. And this is my first winter weather painting tip for you. If you turn your tap on as hot as it will go and fill a container like this, you can put your spray paint into the container and warm it up. I've had this sitting in the warm water for, well, ever since I came out here and started. So the can is nice and warm now. This will help everything mix better in the can. It'll help spray it more evenly. It's actually a good trick to do even in warm weather to help your paint go on smooth and to mix well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I have two colors today. I have a white and a black, and I'm gonna go put the black in here now. Now I found with the base coat, to get a nice solid coat, you do kind of a light dusting like this, and then you follow up with another coat that is heavier. And honestly, you can go as thick and stark as you want, or as light. If you like the look of this and you like kind of seeing some of the camo underneath still, that's okay too. Now I forgot to mention a couple things. First off, you need a good place to paint. I have this on some sawhorses right here, but also a piece of cardboard is a good option. Also, you want to be in a well-ventilated area, of course, or wear a respirator, or both if you're really sensitive to this sort of thing. And you probably shouldn't be standing under a tree with snow dropping on your freshly painted rifle, but, you know, I think it's just going to add some extra flair to my paint job. Okay, so my winter tip number 2 is using a heat gun, or a hairdryer if you don't have a heat gun, to help the drying process of the paint. Spray paint is usually supposed to be used in 60 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, and it is it's in the low 30s right now, so definitely not ideal conditions. This will help the solvents in the paint evaporate better and help us dry the paint. Now, of course, when using the heat gun, you don't want to dwell on any spot too long, because you don't want to melt things or damage things, and these heat guns usually do get pretty hot. So this is just to help in the paint curing while it's cold out. You're ready to spray again when the paint is not sticky or just barely sticky. Get up some of this snow that dripped. It also helps to use a high quality spray paint. This is actual like graffiti art store paint. Hardware store paint like Rust-Oleum is also a good option, but usually this stuff dries faster and is a little more, leaves a little better finish in my experience. Now I'm going to try something. I'm going to take black, and I'm going to try and do some lines and then kind of smudge it with this rubber glove. Like this. Well, it's not quite working how I wanted it to. But that is okay. I think I'm going to do kind of this light dusting of black. Kind of in lines like that. And then I'm going to do something else after. I'm going to take this branch, it's an apricot tree branch, I'm going to go over it with some white. Oops. Yeah, it kind of gives me some shadows and stuff. Okay, my paint job is complete and my winter camo is done. I still need to let this rifle air dry for a little bit. I like to let it air dry for at least 24 hours before I actually use it. So it's going to go down in my basement to dry the rest of the way. But why did I do this? Well, since the weather has changed here, we've got snow everywhere, there's not really any greenery. My green kind of camo paint job kind of stuck out. So with this paint job, it can help me stay concealed and discreet in this sort of weather when I'm out in the field. You know, just with the black and the white, I've got kind of this white with all these kind of shadows on it. It's exactly what I was going for. And I just think it looks cool too. And that brings up a point. There's two main reasons why you would want to paint a gun. First is to camouflage it, to help break up its shape and make it harder to figure out whether you're armed or not at distance. So if I'm wearing winter camo as well, carrying this rifle, and I'm off in the distance, somebody observing me might have a hard time telling what exactly I have in my hands or strapped on my back. That's kind of the goal of this camo. However, the second reason why you would paint a gun is because you think it's cool. And don't let anybody out there tell you that you shouldn't paint your gun just because you think it's cool. Because it's your gun, it's your life, do what you want. If you want to paint your gun hot pink and neon green, you should do it. There's probably no practical reason for painting your gun like that, but if you think it's cool, just go do it. And in fact, Ian's new lever action rifle that he just built, we are going to be doing a really, really cool paint job on that in the coming months. That it's not camouflage, it won't help him stay concealed or anything, but it's going to be so cool that yeah, you should stick around and keep an eye out for that video coming out in the next couple months. But anyway, thank you for watching. Paint your rifle if you want to, don't paint it if you don't want to, and don't tell people what to do with their stuff as well. If you painted your rifle and you have a cool paint job you want to show off, send us photos of it. We want to see it. And we're going to create a blog post with some of our favorite entries. So you can email those to minutemantheory@gmail.com, or you can send them to us on Twitter, or X now, or Instagram. We also have accounts there, and there's links to those in the description. Oh, and Facebook. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.